Hi, I'm Anissa Quintanilla, and I'm in a group with Emma Visser and Sarah Miller, and I'm going to be talking about Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurological disorder that shrinks the brain and causes brain cells to die. More than 5 million Americans suffer from Alzheimer's. Symptoms include memory loss, like forgetting conversations, names of family members, everyday objects, misplacing valuables and just forgetting where you're putting them, getting lost in familiar places, and as well as having trouble expressing their thoughts. When it comes to thinking and concentrating, it's just really hard for them to focus, as well as knowing how to respond in a really intense conversation. Impaired judgments and decisions, they make poor decisions when it comes to social interactions, or wearing the wrong attire, just depending on the weather, becomes difficult as well. Performing familiar tasks is a struggle when it comes to cooking a meal, playing a favorite game, and as the disease progresses, it essentially becomes difficult to get dressed, and even bathe. And changes in personality and behavior include social withdrawal, mood swings, losing trust in others. They become aggressive. It can cause depression, and changes in sleep habits will occur. And sometimes they'll just tend to wander off without telling anyone, or even know exactly where they're going. There is no known specific cause as to why Alzheimer's happens, but some ways that includes brain proteins like the plague and tangles fail to function normally, which triggers a series of toxic events that affects neuron damages, and they lose connection to each other and eventually die off, and it takes place in the region that controls brain memory. Genetics also play a role into it, not as much so, because it's not caused by a single gene, but rather by a gene mutation. And if one of those muted genes is inherited from one person, the person will, or parent, my bad, the person will develop early Alzheimer's before the age of 65. But the majority of Alzheimer's doesn't develop until after the age of 65 as late onset. Some risk factors that could also play a role into it is increasing age, excessive alcohol consumption, and head trauma. When it comes to diagnose, they will typically do brain scans of a CT, MRI, physical and neurological exam, which include tests like problem solving, counting, language. They will also test reflexes, muscle tone, and strength, as well as your sight, hearing, coordination, and balance. And lab tests will be taken to rule out other causes of for memory loss and confusion. And genetic testing will only be done if the patient has a history of Alzheimer's in the family. And there is no specific known treatment to Alzheimer's. There is no cure, but you can slow or delay the symptoms of diseases. And you do this by taking medication to help with memory symptoms, behavioral symptoms, and cognitive changes like antidepressants. You can also do certain exercises to help with memory and stuff like that. And you can also create a safe and supportive environment by keeping valuables in the same location to kind of help with memory, as well as moving dangerous objects around the house And if they have like a phone, put like a location on it so you can always keep track of where they're at. And also keep medications in a serial location with a track list to like keep track of like the dosages. And prognosis, typically after you're diagnosed, you only have about like 4 to 8 years after, but potentially you could live up to a good 20 years if God allows that. And that is all the info I have.